for being here, everybody. Montana heads to South Dakota State this week for the second round of the FCS playoffs. With us, we have Ryder Meyer and Eli Gillman and Coach Hauck. And Coach, we'll start with your final thoughts on a nice win for the Grizz in the first round as Montana moves on to play South Dakota State.
Thanks, James. Sure. Just briefly, we're excited to win on Saturday. That was a fun game to be a part of. It was, that was a fun atmosphere in the stadium on Saturday night, and I thought our guys played hard. Just it was fun to be around them all week, and it was really fun to be around them on Saturday. So, moving on to the next one, South Dakota State's they're a very good football team. Obviously, they're tough. They play really hard. Obviously, they've won a lot. In particular, they're the two-time defending national champions, and it's kind of interesting that we've got a rematch of last year's national championship game over Brookings this weekend. So, there's been a lot of games played since we played them in the championship game last year, but we have a pretty good feel for them, and I'm sure they have a pretty good feel for us. So, be a huge challenge to go over there and win. As I mentioned, they're really good football team, and got good players. They've got very sound in everything they do. The quarterback's the returning national player of the year, and he's terrific. So, got our hands full. Got to go over and play a great game. We want to go over there and get a win.
Questions?
I could go with Ryder and then Eli. Just how does it feel to draw South Dakota State again in a championship game rematch? And does this have a title game feel for you guys again, or do you approach it like a championship game?
I think we approach every week as a championship week. Our goal is to go 1-0 every single week. Like Coach said, we got a good feel for them, and I'm sure they have a good feel for us. And I know as a team we're super excited for the opportunity to go down to Brookings.
I mean, kind of same thing what Ryder said. This playoffs, we're just going 1-0 each week and moving on from there. So.
And Eli, could go back to Ryder. Just how much has last year's championship game against them stuck with you since that game? And when you think back to it, what are kind of the things that come to mind for you guys?
I mean, it comes across my mind sometimes, but I'm usually focused on the team we're playing. And when I think about that game, the things that come back to me is just how many times we shot ourselves in the foot. That's really all I think about.
Yeah, similar to Eli. Trying to move on to the game. Obviously, it stung for a while, but just gonna want to go 1-0 this week, and we're gonna put everything we have into preparation and make sure that we're ready to go for Saturday.
Ryder, when you look at Gronowski and just having played against him, just what kind of stood out when you played against him last year, and just what makes him so effective?
Yeah, he's efficient. He knows how to get the ball to the playmakers, and then when he does scramble, he makes sure to keep his eyes downfield, and then he's accurate, and yeah, he's a solid quarterback, and he does present challenges. So we got to be ready to roll.
Coach, obviously he's back. A lot of guys from their offense last year are gone. So are there any familiar faces that kind of stand out to you when you look at their offense?
We're just kind of getting going on them. There's some things you can bank on. That they're going to be consistently good at running back. They're going to be consistently good at tight end and up front. That's just who they are, right? And then quarterbacks and All-American players. So they can hurt you a lot of different ways. And when you got a guy that's that experienced and can throw it, can run it, can handle pressure, all those different things, that creates problems.
Defensively, Adam Bach leads them in tackles, and obviously you guys saw him last year as well. Just what kind of
number is he?
32.
32 is a good player.
Anything else stand out about their defense, or what?
Yeah, they work well together. They play hard. You mentioned the linebacker. The linebackers are really good players. Not just him. He's played a lot though.
Coach, anything else that's different about their defense? I know they lost a lot of guys. The nickel guy went to the NFL, I think. So anything that's different schematically or in
I mean, everybody moves moves their pieces a little bit, but they kind of are who they are. But their system wasn't broke. They weren't going to fix it too much.
I mean, on that note, they were so good defensively last year. I mean, I think they were the first national champion to give up less than 8 points per game.
I don't know what the number was. I thought it was 9 points.
9 points per game, less than double
9
figures.
point something, 9.6
Yeah.
last year. They're all the way down to 12 this year. So.
Have you ever coached in Brookings? I know you've crossed over with.
Never been there.
Okay. Have
Always,
any of you guys?
always been here or in Frisco.
Okay. Just preparing to go to a place that you've never been before. What's that element like?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been there, but we ask guys we know questions about just everything from what hotel to stay in to how far is it, how long is the drive from the hotel to the stadium, to where do you fly into. So just handle all those things, and then ultimately you got to kick it off and hold up against a good football team.
Ryder, all these, the top echelon FCS teams are always good at home, which is kind of how it is. Like, what, in your mind, like.
They're all good on the road, too.
Yeah. And particularly at home, but like, what do you think it's going to take to go in there and play well in an environment like that?
Well, we got to have a good week of prep, and then big thing is just be able to overcome adversity. It's going to strike at some point. We got to be able to lock arms and be able to move ahead and have the next play mentality and just play as hard as we can.
The personnel obviously different, but what did you take away from that game last year as far as like kind of style or type of team that they were on offense?
Yeah, they're physical. Like I said earlier, they're efficient. They don't make too many mistakes, and I think that's they're a similar team. Obviously, their personnel is different, but they have the next man up mentality as well. Their new guys are playing well. So.
Eli, I don't know if you knew who Eddie George was going into last week, but he said some glowing things about you afterwards. What's that like, knowing that a Heisman Trophy winner at running back, had some nice remarks for you?
Yeah, that's sweet coming from him, knowing that like he notices like things I've been doing, and coming from like another running back especially is just a super cool feeling.
Anybody else?
I meant to ask you this on Saturday, Bobby, but it was so late.
It was.
Past all of our bedtimes. So many of Junior's great returns have gone up the Grizz sideline. Is that by design, or is that just where he feels comfortable taking it?
No, we're kind of. We're going to bring it one of 3 areas, and that's happenstance.
That's just kind of where he beats them to get around the corner.
No, it's where it's called.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it on Saturday, but just the fact that he's done this, 5 times in the last, 4 playoff games. It's almost unheard of. So, has that fact sunk in, not only 8 in his career, but 5 in big-time playoff games?
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't really know what to think of that in terms of why. I do know those guys are geared up for it when they go out there to do it, but that's not, unique to postseason. And that team was trying to keep it away from them. And then they did, and they weren't able to, which I always think is difficult, especially when you're backed up, you can't give away the yards. We do see it some in our league, but I don't know if that's because those teams aren't as familiar with us or not, but they should be. These Tennessee State certainly was aware.
How hard is it to kick away from somebody? Because Coach George talked about that.
It's hard, punters work on, these are college kids now, these aren't NFL guys. And they're trying to get their foot on the ball and get a good punt. And, when you say to a college punter, you say, hey, kick it out of bounds. Well, hell, they're trying not to kick it out of bounds all the time. They're trying not to hit it off the side of their foot for 15 yards all the time. So it's not like they're that precise. And then you start putting pressure on them with the rush and all that. It's not easy to do.
And watching those 2 back, the first one was blocked up so well. Both of them were blocked up well, but the first one so well. The second one, he has the stiff arm and just kind of outruns everybody. So just how impressive was that second one? How much was that just him making a play?
Well, they're both really good returns by Junior and then by the other 10 guys. And you know the way guys sustained their blocks and stayed on them, and you know, and then Junior trusted the scheme enough to be able to make it work. And obviously there's just his ability to get it where it's supposed to go is pretty awesome.
Ryder, your perspective on watching Junior return punts and kicks over these last 4 or 5 years?
He's a stud. You know, it's almost selfish on his part. The defense gets a big stop, he returns, and then we got to go back out. But no, I'm very happy for him. There's no one more deserving than Junior for the success and accolades he's had over the years. The kid works his tail off day in, day out. So to see that success, I'm extremely proud of him and the person and player that he is.
The last one, Bobby, do you have a favorite amongst his kick returns, punt returns for touchdowns?
Oh gosh, you know, I don't know. They're all pretty fun. The one against Southeast Missouri was great because Flint knocked the same guy out twice in the same play. It sticks out in my mind.
Anybody else? Thanks, everyone.